Hello, and welcome to episode 10 of the Comics Conspiracy Podcast.
Double digits, baby!
Yeah, a podcasting milestone. We've hit 10 episodes in a row, actually.
In a row?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, amazing. No 6-month delay between episodes like I expected would happen, so...
No, we've been good. We've been consistent.
Yeah. We'll see what happens in the future. Maybe we'll tone it down to twice a month. We'll see. I don't think we can. Do people want to hear us talking every week?
I think they do.
Oh, man.
Do we have visitors from Massachusetts?
Yeah, visitors from all over the place to come over here.
But that was this week.
As Geekbox people.
No, they listen to the Comic Conspiracy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, my name is Ryan Higgins.
And I'm Brock Sager.
Hello, Brock.
Hello, Ryan.
I don't think have we mentioned that this is recorded in Comics Conspiracy, a comic book store that I own, that you work at, in Sunnyvale, California. I think it's been a little while. Been a few episodes since we plugged the store.
You haven't randomly plugged the store.
So
Sunnyvale,
let's
California,
plug the store.
94087.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we will sell you comics if you want to buy comics from us. You can always send us some emails. The Comic Conspiracy at geekbox.net, or you can send us email addresses, or you can send us email to our email addresses, which are listed on the website comicsconspiracy.biz. Or you can go hit us up in the Geekbox forums, geekbox.net, forums.geekbox.net, direct link. Yeah.
If you want to order from us, you can do a standard old-fashioned phone.
Yeah.
Credit card over the phone, or we do take PayPal.
Yeah. We'll take pesos mailed to us by carrier pigeon.
You have to go to the bank to deal with that crap.
If it's money, we'll take it. If it's not money, maybe we'll still take it. So yeah, we'll figure something out.
I hate you.
Yeah.
You say that every time somebody comes in. Oh, I don't know. I can't really buy this. But then you give them the $20 and I have to deal with a whole bunch of shit.
Yep. Occasionally there's good stuff.
Occasionally?
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, enough blatant plugging
blah,
here.
blah, blah.
Yeah, let's talk some comic books.
All right, listen to me. Go for it.
Yeah, you want me to start here?
Yeah, I want to finish my pizza.
Okay. Eating on the podcast. What do you, Karen Chew from the Geekbox?
What?
What do you, Karen Chew?
What?
We have an email here from the John... well, I'm not even going to attempt it. Maybe I will fail at attempting to pronounce his name. Jonathan Gazarian? That's actually not that hard. I think that's right.
Are you going to be able to speak on this podcast?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Because if you speak correctly on this podcast, then everyone knows there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. Gazarian. Jonathan Gazarian. That sounds right.
What did I tell you?
If that's not right...
Just say their first name and the last letter. That's it.
Jonathan G.
There you go.
He writes, "Hey guys," it's kind of a long email, but I'll read through it. He says, "Hey guys, I just wanted to write in to thank you for bringing up Isotope Comics several times in the podcast." I'll explain Isotope Comics in a few. I've been meaning to check out more comics for years, and I've only recently started doing some decent reading. I finally got around to checking out Isotope a few weeks ago after hearing Ryan mention it several times. I was generally just browsing, but also looking for issues of The Sixth Gun, which I happened to be reading just before Brock mentioned it on the podcast, and Ghost Project. That's another book by Oni Press. I didn't know anything about James Sim. He's the owner of Isotope Comics. But once we saw my selection, he got really excited and took me into another room just so he could show me the glow-in-the-dark cover for Ghost Project. He's one of the most genuinely friendly and enthusiastic people I've ever met and was excited to help me. I came back a week later after finishing those to pick up some more remaining issues and browse once again. When I mentioned to James that I didn't know a lot about what's out there, he stopped what he was doing and scanned the shelves for about 5 minutes, hand-selecting books based on what he knew about my tastes. He then told me to sit down in the lounge and look through them to figure out if they were for me. I ended up taking a few of them home that day and was really happy with my purchase. I really wanted to write in about this because I think it's an amazing asset for comic newcomers afraid of the comic book store guy, character from The Simpsons, to have people like you and James to make the experience not only less intimidating but a lot more fun. Thank you for the recommendations and for helping put an end to the comic store guy mentality that I've seen and has kept me away for years. Or has kept me away years ago. I can read occasionally. Thank you for the email, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Brock, you've never been to Isotope Comics. I'm going to take you up there one of these days.
Ooh, field trip.
Yeah, sure. Quick
question, though. Because I throughout that entire email, Isotope has a champagne room?
No, they have like a lounge area in the front.
Because he said he took him into a back room.
Well,
and showed him the glow in the dark.
Upstairs.
Whoa, hey
upstairs room and back rooms and stuff like that. Yeah, so Isotope Comics is a store up in San Francisco. If you've never been, I highly recommend it. It's one of the best comic stores I've ever been to in my life. If you're interested in back issues and toys and Pokemon cards and manga and statues and print, they don't carry any of these things. Just be warned. This is a comic book store that he carries like brand new stuff, trade paperbacks. That's it. It's set up much like an arty San Francisco boutique more than it is like a regular comic shop. And probably the best part about Isotope is he has tons of cool parties. I've been there for, let's see, who have I been there for? Geoff Johns, Jim Lee, Brian Michael. Oh no, not Bendez. Although Joe Quesada was there actually last time I went there for the WonderCon after party. Who else was there? Brian K. Vaughan, Frank Quietly. A lot of people from 2000 AD. He had a handful of guys from 2000 AD there one time. He's had just name Cameron Stewart. I'm almost positive Cameron Stewart was there. Did I go to that? He's had just a ton of really, really cool creators throughout the years. Grant Morrison. Yeah. Just really good creators, really high-profile guys come through, do signings. And because the store's set up not really like a store, it's more like a kind of a loungy boutique area. He throws some great parties. That place gets packed to the rim, especially around WonderCon. And APE, which is the Alternative Press Expo, which is an indie comics con in San Francisco. He gives out the Isotope Mini Comic Award every year to the best mini comic for the submissions, and pretty much all those guys have gone on to do other really good work that have won his award. So, yeah, James is. When I was in the process of buying the store, he was the guy that I would call like my greatest influence. There's some really good shops around here. That type of shop wouldn't work in Sunnyvale because it's just not we're not the type of crowd around here that could deal with this sort of artsy. I mean, he's on where is he? He's on? He used to be on Fell. What's the new one? Yeah, it's on Fell. It's 326 Fell Street in San Francisco.
What's
he's
across?
Gow.
What?
Goughh.
Gouge?
Gow.
Gauge?
Googe. Something like that. No. Please don't do that again. I've never known how to pronounce that word. It was one of my favorite places to go. I try to go whenever he has a party, although in the last year or two I haven't been to all of them, but I've gone quite a lot of them. Yeah, and just super, super nice guy. I'd love to have him on the podcast. He's just he's very smart. He knows a ton about comics. He knows a lot of indie stuff, a lot of alternative press, a lot of mini comics. I mean, he really has that market really cornered, especially in that area in San Francisco, because it's a very artsy neighborhood, very, very cool place. So, yeah, one of my favorite stores in the country. If you're ever in San Francisco, you have to stop by. Tell him I said, hey, I've known James for years. I would easily consider him, like if I had to pick like a mentor, like his type of store is like, this is awesome and I would love to do something like this. I love my back issues and statues and toys, but it's just sort of the mentality of the store and the way he runs stuff there. You can adapt it to other locations and other products and still make it work. Yeah. And
well, the boutique style is mainly for like metropolitan areas,
right?
Or really high-end ritzy areas,
right?
I can understand.
It's hard here.
It's hard here. I mean, if you had a place up in like Saratoga or Palo Alto, you may be able to pull it off.
Well, because you're in San Francisco is really it's super crowded. There's a lot of people there. It's pretty easy to get around. There's like 6 or 8 full-fledged comic book stores in San Francisco. Yeah. So that's a lot for the area. It's maybe more than that, but there's a lot. So yeah, it's real cool store. I'm glad Jonathan checked it out and liked it, because it's one of my favorite stores. And if you're gonna give your money to someone that's not me, give it to James. Yeah, he's awesome.
Field trip, woohoo!
I'll take you up there one day. You got an email you want to read now?
Oh yeah, I got an email. Hold on. Let me pull this bad boy up on my rotary phone. Oh wait, my smartphone. All right, this is from Kyle V.
Not even going to pronounce it.
Not even going to try. Okay, it says, hey guys, big fan of the show. It really helps me get through my day of work flying a desk. Though I usually want to yell at Higgins when he's blanking on something.
So he's yelling at me 24 hours a day when I'm podcasting, because I have the worst, just straight up front, I have the worst memory in the face of the earth. And when we do these episodes raw, which I understand now why Ryan Scott, when we were doing the Geekbox, why he quickly went to just the raw format. It's a damn nightmare to edit these things. It takes like 10 times as long to edit that it does to record. Yeah. So I will edit out like really long pauses or mistakes or just total brain farts, but Get used to it. I'm terrible about it, so I'm sorry.
That could be one of our drinking games, the Ryan Higgins brain fart. Every time that happens, it's like you take a shot.
You will die of alcohol poisoning before the end of the episode. Okay, I have a terrible, terrible memory, it's surprising how much I remember considering how bad my memory is.
Yeah, that's what's funny.
Yeah,
like I remind you of shit all the time, from day to day.
Yeah.
So anyway. That's the next word in his thing. Anyway, I've been picking up The Flash recently, starting with Geoff Johns' latest run. I kind of browsed through Rebirth, but always thought that The Flash was a cool concept. Do you have any recommendations for a good Flash trade I could pick up? I don't have a Barry Allen, Wally West preference. I'm looking for something I can pick up and read without worrying about the continuity of the time, like someone saying, man, things have been really crazy since Zero Hour. I realize it's like trying to read JLA and not stumble upon Electric Superman, but hey, you're the experts. Well, thanks for considering us experts, Kyle.
How little he knows.
Yes, I know. We just fly by the seat of our pants most of the time.
It's a good email to read this week because I'm wearing a Flash t-shirt and Brock's wearing a reverse Flash t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally not on purpose.
Yeah.
Just the way we roll here.
Yeah.
Brock's my evil counterpart.
Exactly. You have to have it. So, funny thing, I just posted a Flash trade reading list on my blog. Starting with Crisis on Infinite Earths, and going through a lot of the stuff that's been actually collected.
Yeah, there's a lot that hasn't been collected.
Yeah, so I can understand why maybe jumping on it Rebirth seemed a little daunting, because I read it and it was heavy reading.
Well, the thing with Rebirth, it was not, it was new story.
Yeah.
The stuff Johns has done with Barry over the last handful of years, it's really a different continuity than the older stuff, because all this thing about his parents being dead and his mom getting this is new to the character. So
okay.
So I was just as confused as you were. There's no real good jumping on point for Flash. So much of Wally's series, which is Wally West, the Flash who was in the 80s and 90s after the death of Barry Allen, the Silver Age Flash. A lot of that was sort of like trying to I'm not Barry. I have to Barry is always in the background. There's always something where people are mentioning him. And he really does kind of come into his own, especially in the later years, but then they bring Barry back.
Yeah.
God, yeah. I mean, hard to recommend a Flash book that's really kind of self-contained. The Geoff Johns Flash collections are about as good as you're going to get, because except for the first story, he basically kind of does his own spin on the Rogues Gallery. I mean, you have the long history of the characters,
yeah.
But if you read his run, you'll get basically a good starting point for Wally. And since a lot of these characters are Barry's originally, they sort of reference back and forth to a lot of stories.
Yeah.
The Flash Omnibus just came out, but you were actually harassing me for not making my random pick of the week last week, which collects, I believe, the first two or three trades.
The first two plus
some of the specials.
The first two, they reprinted the second one. I forgot what it was called. With a couple extra one-shots.
Yeah.
So the Omnibus collects the first one and the second one with more material.
Right, and it's oversized in hardcover.
Yeah.
Really, really nice. That should just announce. Well, they haven't officially announced it yet, but it's on Amazon. They're doing a Geoff Johns Teen Titans Omnibus.
Oh, wow.
So they're going to collect his whole run in oversized hardcover, which that'll look awesome on my bookshelf.
Oh,
so, yeah, that's about the best place I could recommend. If you want to get into the Barry stuff, you have Final Crisis, Rebirth, and then Dastardly Death of the Rogues.
Well, I mean, you
took a look at collection.
You took a look at the reading list. I mean,
it seemed. Yeah, I mean, nothing seemed out of place. I'll go back through it and confirm. But yeah, everything seemed okay. So,
pretty much the jumping on points is if you start with the Wally West stuff, like the Wade and Morrison stuff, I would jump on at Crisis on Infinite Earth, so that way you kind of get a feeling for what's going on with Flash.
Right.
And then go into that stuff.
Well, after Barry dies, I mean, to the best of my knowledge, they never collected anything prior to the return of Barry Allen, which is around issue 67, I believe, of Flash. That sounds right, 67, somewhere in that range. So you're missing, 6-7 years afterwards, and none of those, to the best of my knowledge, have been collected.
Yeah.
You can also go back and read the Flash our showcases, which are the black and white soft covers,
right?
and Chronicles, which they just started, which are color reprints, soft cover reprints, and they do have the DC archives, which are the hardcover reprints. They do have a handful of the
but that's
Barry Allen.
That's the J stuff, right?
They've done both. They've done Jay
both.
Garrick, the Golden
Okay,
Age,
okay.
and Barry Allen, the Silver Age
Age.
Flash. Yep, they've done both versions. Mostly the Silver Age Flash, though.
Okay.
Honestly, also check out New Teen Titans, because Kid Flash is Flash. I mean,
Yeah.
that's Wally is in a lot of the Kid Flash. He's Kid Flash in a lot of the New Teen Titans books from the early '80s.
Yeah.
Before he becomes Flash after Crisis. He's in a lot of that. That's good stuff. Maybe check out. Talk about Grant Morrison's JLA, but he does some great Flash moments in that with Wally. That's really good. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places to jump in for Flash. New series. Had you read anything prior? Had you really read any Flash prior to Rebirth?
Flash prior to Rebirth. I picked up The Fastest Man Alive.
Yeah.
Which
that was a mistake.
Yeah, it was. I think I jumped on when it started to get bad, because I guess the first few
Issue
issues-
1?
Well, from what I was reading, it was okay, and then it got bad, which I think was halfway through it.
So Flash Fastest Man Alive was when they rapidly age Bart, who's Impulse, who's the young Flash kid from the future.
If you
rapidly
just
age
got
him.
a headache, we completely understand, but you can take a shot because he stuttered.
Oh, the Flash continuity. Oh, if you're gonna take a shot whenever I stutter, then you're gonna be drunk in like 5 minutes. Okay. The Flash. Let me see if I can do this. Let me see. So Bart is the nephew of Barry Allen from the 30th century, which is when the Legion were, because Barry, after he kills Zoom, because his wife's spirit was in the body
Just
of
so
another
everybody
woman
knows, I'm watching Ryan's eyes
who was-
access his brain
who was
right now.
killed by Zoom on their wedding day. He went into the 30th century right before Crisis, and he had 2 kids with Iris, the Tornado Twins, and then they married the Throns, who are... I'm missing a step here, and I can't remember where the step is, because Impulse is like his great-nephew or his grandnephew or something like that. I forget where that step is, but there's another step in there between his kids and Bart. I can't remember.
Take a shot.
God, I can't remember. It's too confusing. It's such a nightmare.
Yeah.
The Flash continuity is such a nightmare.
Yeah. It's not as easy as Green Lantern. Ugh.
Green Lantern's pretty bad too.
Well, Green Lantern's pretty bad too, but you can
There's no time travel in Green Lantern.
can jump on the current stuff and be okay.
Yeah, there's no time travel in Green Lantern. There's a lot of time travel in Flash. It's very difficult.
Flash is almost up there with Legion.
I remember when Wikipedia was like first kind of getting really big and a lot of people were using it. I remember spending hours reading like the history of Legion, the history of Hawkman, the history of Dr. Fate, because God damn, those characters have the most convoluted history of all time. Oh, it's a nightmare. Especially considering the new Dr. Fate has the same name as the old Dr. Fate, but he's not related to him. And Kent Nelson, but it's like, it's just another guy named Kent Nelson becomes
He just
Dr.
took
Fate.
the name.
No, but his name is Kent Nelson.
Yeah, but the
he's
guy
not-
just took the name.
What?
Whoever he was just took his name. When he put the helmet on, he just took the name.
No, his name was Kent Nelson before he put the helmet on.
Well, maybe it's just serendipitous.
I guess it's a friggin' nightmare, is what it is. But so yes, sorry. You read Fastest Man Alive, which was the Impulse book, which was really pretty terrible.
Pretty terrible. And then they went back to legacy numbering
Right. So
on Flash, and I was picking those up.
okay. So you did pick up the Mark Waid.
The Mark Waid stuff, which was okay.
They bring Barry back, or they bring Wally back
Yeah.
because he has kids now with Linda, his wife, and they bring it back all Incredibles style.
Yeah, and it wasn't too bad, and then it fell off. And
It fell off really quick.
And then I read Rebirth, which was really heavy. I mean, just with the little amount of Flash that I had read, reading Rebirth was just like, oh my God, there's just too much information. It was almost along the same lines of reading Green Lantern's Rebirth, where you have just a lot of information, and you're kind of jumping in at a point where you're
sure.
Where you're, what the hell is this Spectre thing doing here? And
when a lot of people ask where's a good place to start with Rebirth, I say the start, or Green Lantern, I say the start is Rebirth, but good luck because the continuity there is very heavy. Yeah. When you get to No Fear, which is the first trade, or Secret Origin, which is like kind of the redone Origin trade, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, Secret Origin has a little bit of a hint towards Blackest Night in it, but it's not anything that you... It's not going to hurt you to read that first.
No.
But anyway, do we have any more mail?
I think
hopefully we answered the Flash question, but if not, check out the conspiratorbrock.blogspot.com.
Yeah, I think we're good for mail this week. Hopefully, our this episode a little short. We went really long last week. So.
Yeah, we did. Damn racist.
Done with that now. I think we had 2 things we wanted to talk about, 2 news stories. Was it just one news story?
You had a news story. I had kind of the forums. People have been asking.
Oh, right. War of the Green Lanterns.
Yeah, about War of the Green Lanterns.
Let's do that first. I have been busy as hell the last few days, and I did a quick flip through the 3 issues of Green Lantern that came out this week to kind of catch up on War of the Green Lanterns, and in my the very first page I open up to was the death page, and I'm like, oh, really? I didn't mean to open to this page. So I've been thoroughly spoiled with that, but I've been really busy the last few days, have not had a chance to read these 3 issues of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go home and read them tonight, so Brock, it's all you. Massive spoilers for War of the Green Lanterns. Beware, beware, beware.
War of the Green Lanterns, Chapter 10, or Chapter 9 came out.
Well, 7, 8,
8, and 9 came out this week. Really, we haven't talked about it because nothing substantial has gone on. Well, I mean,
here's a problem I have with people's reaction to War of the Green Lantern. It can't be dialed up to 11 all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can only be dialed up to 10.
Yeah.
And this is 10.
Yeah.
This isn't 11 like Blackest Night was. This is 10. So it's a good story, but I think people are like, man, we need this to be a breakneck speed at all times, and that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's a cool story. Although the other rings are in it, it's mostly focused around Green Lanterns, and you're go back to the core characters for Green Lantern, not all the Care Bear Lantern cores.
It's mainly Hal, Guy, Kyle, and John.
Right.
Those are the ones you're following, and it's been entertaining, but nothing has been really substantial except for what happened this week.
Right.
Which is the death of...
Well, a death of a major character. Maybe we'll spoil it in a minute. But they've been going on for a while that a major character was going to die.
Yeah.
A major Green Lantern character was going to die in this War of the Green Lanterns. Most people assumed it was going to be Kyle.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people assumed it was going to be Kyle Rayner. He's the one that I think if you had to kill one, he's the one.
Well, why not John?
John and Guy have very interesting places in Green Lantern continuity, and Kyle does, but his thing I guess Guy and John were just the Hal Jordan replacements, but it seemed like Kyle was this completely different era of Green Lantern, which is, I want to say, has been made redundant with with what they've been doing in Green Lantern now. Now, I love Kyle Rayner.
Yeah.
He was Green Lantern when I was really getting into comics. I came in maybe a year or two before the death of Superman, so I came in like a year, like 90, 91, I don't remember.
Yeah.
When Death of Superman was a little bit after that. So I did know Hal, but the majority of the books I read, especially Grant Morrison's JLA, and then Ron Mars, and I don't remember who else was writing Green Lantern, but that's all Kyle. So I love Kyle, but if one had to go, I think Kyle's the easiest.
The easiest. Yeah.
So maybe not the best. Maybe not the best one to kill, but
I think the weird thing is that Guy has been carrying the Green Lantern Corps book at the beginning,
Right.
and then Kyle started to carry it
Right.
when Guy kind of went off and did before Emerald Warriors, but Guy kind of went off, and then now he's back, but he's on the Emerald Warriors book.
Right.
Which, are they keeping that going, or?
I think they're keeping them all. And then we're getting a Red Lantern Corps book as well.
Oh, wow.
By Peter Milligan.
Nice.
Which may be in the next previews.
Ooh, interesting.
We'll talk about that next previews in a few minutes.
Uh-oh. Anyway.
But they kill a character. They kill
Magog. Is that how you say it?
What is wrong with you?
I don't know how to pronounce names.
Every time Brock mispronounces a character's name that he should know, take a shot. You'll be drunk in 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Mogo.
Mogo, that's it.
Thank you. Magog.
Magog.
It's not Magog.
Mogo.
Yes, Mogo.
Mogo.
Mogo is the greatest Green Lantern of all time.
No, he's not necessarily the greatest. He's the biggest.
He's the greatest Green Lantern of all time.
Okay.
He is a planet Green Lantern. You've seen him in every time there's a Green Lantern book, he always shows up.
Yeah.
He's been
He's
around.
in Blackest Night.
He's a Blackest Night. He has a pretty cool role, I believe, based off an Alan Moore story. I believe that's an Alan Moore story in the new Emerald Knights DVD animated movie coming out. It's called Emerald Knights? Emerald Warrior?
I think it's Emerald.
I think it's Emerald Knights.
No, it's Emerald Warriors.
Is it Emerald Warrior?
I think it's Emerald Warrior, yeah. You saw it at WonderCon.
No, it's Emerald Knights.
Emerald Knights. Okay.
Yeah, it is Emerald Knights. Yeah, I was like, Emerald Knights, Emerald Warrior? I'm like, oh, which one is it? Yes, Emerald Knights. Thank you. You can now take a shot because I've forgotten.
Yay!
I'm so drunk.
I'm so wasted.
Yeah, Mogo got exploded. Very, very sad. And Mogo, besides being awesome because he's a giant planet,
Yeah.
he's also the one that would distribute the rings to the new Green Lantern Corps members. So when a Green Lantern member dies, the rings go to Mogo, and Mogo would kind of send them out into the galaxy, into the universe to find their replacements. That's going to be some shit if Mogo isn't around anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
maybe there's Moga. Maybe Moga is
It's
floating
like
around.
his female counterpart.
Like his sister is floating around, or his
what
wife.
is his sex?
Or
We don't even know. It's a planet.
Right. So, yeah, there could be other stuff there. Maybe there's other sentient planets rolling around. Maybe Ego, the living planet, could come over and help out for a few minutes.
Makes an appearance.
Yeah. Yeah, I did actually. I heard that.
Bzz makes an appearance and he tries to save him, but yeah, they didn't.
Yeah.
He's obliterated.
Poor Mogo.
Pretty sad.
You're the best character of all time.
But I wonder if this is going to tear in, or go into the Legion stuff.
In what way?
Because technically I think they're kind of lining Legion of Superheroes up to be the future of the DC universe, so to speak. Because right now...
Well, yeah, I mean,
Mon-El
that's what it always has been.
Right now, Mon-El is a Green Lantern. Is the only Green Lantern in that. And he's got this squiggly little sperm-looking Guardian pulling him around. But so I don't know if they're going to line it up that way, or... Because they have been mentioning things in Legion that are going on in Green Lantern right now.
Yeah.
So, like the War of the Green Lanterns and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, it's been a good story.
Yeah.
Again, it's not, like you said, it's not turned all the way up like Blackest Night and Brightest Day. So I've enjoyed it. It's been really, really cool to read. I think collected, it would probably be better to read it, or read it in chunks.
Yeah.
Because reading it single issue, like the first few stories, I think they, like 2 issues came out and then 1. And then 1 issue came out and then 2.
Yeah.
So it was broken up. But this time there was 3. So it was kind of nice to read those.
Let's read them all in a row.
But yeah.
Long way for the next issue, though, fortunately.
Now, I'm just curious to see if they're just going to collect War of the Green Lanterns.
Well, there's a 3-part Aftermath. I believe the main Green Lantern book's going on hiatus for this Aftermath book. And then the other titles are continuing. We'll get the new Red Lantern book soon. I assume next month. So... Or in the next previews, the June previews. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot. It's cool. I'm happy that... Well, you know what's funny, too? The numbers for Green Lantern, at least for us, and what I've seen online, too, through the national sales charts and stuff, and they're about average with what they were during Brightest Day, so people haven't jumped off for this. You haven't added a bunch of sales. We haven't really lost anything. So it's still consistently one of the best sellers in the comic industry, and for DC. So, yeah, real cool stuff. Really, really happy that Green Lantern's still popping. In the next few weeks, baby, it's coming. There's a new scene. There's a full scene with Kilowog and Hal up from the Green Lantern movie, and I'm just like, nope, not watching it.
It's up right now?
Yeah, it's online. Yeah,
I need to watch this.
No, don't tell me. I don't want to know. I don't want to hear it.
I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to spoil it for you, and you're going to hate me for the rest of, 2 minutes.
I am in complete shutdown mode for Green Lantern.
Dude, it isn't even June.
Anymore. I know. I'm done.
You have to wait.
No.
If it's before June, you're fine.
This was around probably for Dark Knight when I started to check out. I know there was BleedingCool.com posted a thing where someone reviewed the Transformers 3 novelization, and I'm even don't want to read it.
Yeah. Even
though Transformers 3, I'm not super worried about spoilers. I just want to see fucking robots punching each other for 2 hours. But
I want to see how well they use that.
I just don't.
The CG from the old monster movie, where the serpents go up the building and crunch it, and then the building falls. Because that's literally from some stupid B movie that came out a couple years ago.
Dragon Wars?
Yeah, I think it was it Dragon Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm it's literally the same shot.
Whatever.
It's like they got so lazy they took
the
CG and went, oh, let's change from scales to Transformer.
They didn't invent that shot either. Don't worry. But really, I have really hit shutdown mode for movies, especially this summer, because I don't want to get spoiled. I hate seeing thousands of trailers in every shot, and I just want to see the movie. So I'm putting it off my mind until the 16th, and then that night I'll explode all over the place and be like, it's Green Lantern, yeah!
Come on!
So,
you're disgusting, you sick bastard.
Well, I think we're hitting another pretty much all DC episode this week. We'll have some.
Okay, hold on. Are we going to go see X-Men First Class?
We're going to have a good mix of stuff. I will see First Class at some point. Will I see First Class this week?
Or Friday?
Friday? No, probably not. I may see it over the weekend.
I'm thinking First Class. I might go watch it on Friday because I actually don't have to work.
That's cool.
So I might just pop over and watch it.
Pirates, I want to see, but I'm not in a rush. X-Men First Class, I am just not excited. I saw more trailers and I saw more shots, and I'm just I'm not. Nothing. No interest. Cap looks, and this is not like a Marvel thing. Cap looks awesome. Right?
Yeah, it does.
Thor, I was psyched for that. Avengers, they haven't even shown one shot, and I'm like, Avengers, yes. Spider-Man and X-Men, I give two craps about. I really am. I'm just completely uninterested.
Man, the disappointment from those franchises is still lingering.
Oh, I just completely uninterested.
Well, I'll probably go watch it on Friday. If I watch it, I'll talk a little bit about it.
Yeah. No, I'll see it. I'll definitely see it next week some point. So I do want to see it. If maybe we can go see it on Friday or something. I don't know.
Well, if I go see it, we'll talk a little bit about it. I'll talk a little bit about it. I won't spoil too much, but then we'll talk more once you go see it.
Sounds good.
So,
well, the other news-ish story I'm going to talk about this week is, remember from our previous episodes, we mentioned a few times that big shit was happening in the DC Universe post-Flashpoint, which is their big crossover that's happening right now. One of the big rumors was that they're going to renumber every title to a new number one, Action Comics number one, everything restarts, bunch of new books. The other rumor was that we're getting legacy numbering.
Please, dear God, let it be legacy.
So JLA becomes number 700-something, Flash and Green Lantern become number 600-something.
Please, dear God, go to legacy, please.
That's what I'm hoping.
I don't want a fucking number one.
You know what's funny? I actually had a little bit of a short Twitter conversation with Ed Brubaker today, writer of Captain America for Marvel. He was doing he had an impromptu little Twitter interview about the new relaunch of Captain America.
Yeah.
And a lot of the focus of it was he was kind of frustrated because a lot of people were focusing on the renumbering and not about the story.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, it seems like people do care about the behind-the-scenes stuff more than the story in a lot of regards.
Yeah.
And something like renumbering books is just it is seen, and what I told him was it's seen as a gimmick more than an actual need.
Yeah.
And what happens is the negativity from the gimmick overpowers any positiveness from the book.
Yeah.
So if you just kept this book going and the stories was good, it would sell. The renumbering, all it does is it bumps you for a month or two. Brian Hibbs runs Comic Experience up in San Francisco. He writes an article called Tilting at Windmills for Comic Resources every month. He looked at his numbers for all these relaunched Marvel books recently. Every single one, without exception, went back to their original selling point or below within months of being relaunched. It's Thor. I ordered a couple extra number 1s. I got stuck with a bunch. My orders for number 2 were exactly what my orders would have been for number 620 or whatever.
Yeah.
Not a 1 month gain. Not worth the bad will, personally. Mm-hmm. So DC, if you're listening, you should maybe not renumber your books.
Well, no, you can go to legacy numbering.
Oh, that's fine. That I'm totally fine with.
Don't give us this number 1 bullshit.
Especially if you're just going to relaunch it to legacy numbering back in 6 months. I hate it.
Well, because, a prime example of renumbering and gimmicky and all that shit is Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, what a nightmare.
They renumber it after Ultimatum.
Right.
So they start with a brand new number 1, so you're...
It ran 150 issues. It ran a long time, or 130 something issues.
They bump... Your numbers bumped for number 1.
Not really.
Well,
yeah,
they bumped a little bit.
Maybe overall, but I didn't bump my numbers at all.
Yeah, you didn't, but it bumped a little, and then it dropped back down, and then
it kept dropping.
And it kept dropping, and then 13 issues later, they renumber it back to 150.
150, yeah.
And it's
and now they're renumbering again back to number 1.
Yeah,
because they're killing quote unquote Ultimate Spider-Man, but it's Ultimate, so it doesn't count, and they're going to have someone new in the suit, so. Yeah, totally worthless, totally unneeded. I guess I got to give DC this. If they're going to do it to every single book, with line wide, at least you're doing that.
Yeah.
When Marvel did it with all their books except for basically Uncanny X-Men in the 90s, I kind of got it at that time. The books were languishing, their sales sucked, they had completely new takes on the characters, because a lot of their books had gone over to Image during the Heroes Reborn stuff, come back during the Heroes Return, and you basically do this hard relaunch, especially on Avengers. It was all the Avengers titles. They ended a bunch of books. If you end a book, like Doom Patrol, let's say, right, which just ended, in 5 years, if they bring it back, sure, start with a new number 1. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, like Batman and the Outsiders is, 4 or 5 volumes?
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
That's fine. I have no problem with that. Maybe just keep the book going, but if you're going to end a book and then relaunch it the next month, like Captain America or Thor, it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
So, but
not
what I was talking about.
DC news.
Right, not what we were talking about. Well, maybe what we were talking about. The big news for this week is that Superstar comic creators Geoff Johns and Jim Lee are bringing a bombshell announcement about the future of Superman and the entire DC universe to the the Hero Complex Film Festival on June 11th in Los Angeles, California.
We might have to get our representative Seth Kane.
He has a job interview that day and cannot. I'm telling him the job interview is not a job is not worth not being at this panel. So what they're doing, there's a big there's like a superhero film festival that they're having in Los Angeles, which they're going to show Iron Man, Dick Tracy, Star Trek 2, Incredibles. I thought I read somewhere they're showing The Rocketeer, but maybe I'm wrong. So they're showing Superman and Superman 2 with Richard Donner and Geoff Johns and Jim Lee, who are the two of the big heads of DC Entertainment. They are going to be there to announce this major announcement about the future of DC Comics. This is on June 11th, which is a Saturday. June 13th would be the day that normally we would get the online solicitations for the September shipping comics.
Yeah.
So it's usually a couple months in advance. August 31st, if you remember from our previous podcasts, is the day they're shipping Flashpoint number 5, which is the only book they're shipping that week. Mm-hmm. Major crap happens after Flashpoint number 5. This is September, so the books coming out that first week of September are going to be in the previews online on the DC site and Comic Resources and Newsarama on June 13th. Mm-hmm. June 11th, the closest possible time, they're having some big announcements. So, it's happening, baby.
Well, you feel the JLA?
We're either getting the great relaunch and every title starts with the new number 1, which was what they wanted to do way back in the day when Crisis on Infinite Earths was around. The whole story was they wanted to reboot every single title with number 1, but it took them months and sometimes years. It didn't happen right away, and it was sort of staggered. I guess if you're going to do it, if you're going to have this complete reboot, and a hard reboot, not a soft reboot, I mean, if they're going to really fuck with continuity, I guess I prefer the legacy numbering. I prefer because people are going to buy Action Comics number 907 maybe you'll sell a few extra 900 ones, but it's about the story and the promotion over the number. The number means nothing, except when you're trying to sort your books or file your books.
Fuck, I hate that.
Yeah, it's really frustrating.
God,
So-
Spider-Man, fucking die.
Yeah, it's
Jesus,
annoying.
Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man,
Which
Spectacular
becomes
Spider-Man.
Spectacular, which becomes Peter Parker,
Fuck
which
that
becomes
bullshit.
Spider-Man. Yeah. There's a couple books like that just change names and numbering all the time.
I fucking hate it.
So I'm really excited for whatever this announcement is. I will be online just fiending on the morning of the
Jesus.
11th.
Well, when's the panel? You don't even know what time the panel's at?
I will sit here staring at the computer from 12:01 a.m. June 11th and just stare until my eyes burn
Okay, dude,
out.
they're not going to have a panel. They're in the same time zone as us.
They might.
You don't have to
They
wait
might.
up that.
I actually think I heard the panel's at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So that doesn't stop me from hitting reload every 5 seconds.
God damn it, you're gonna
on
be like a
every
fucking
single
kid on
website. I'll be
Christmas.
like,
Christmas Eve.
load. Oh, dude, I'm totally the kid that was here at 12:01 ripping open Christmas presents in the morning. I without fail on Christmas, I'd always wake up and I'm like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Where's my presents? Where's my presents?
Jesus.
Yeah. So this could be cool. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
Well, somebody, a listener friend of me on Facebook, and we had a conversation on Thursday while I was working.
So that's what you do in your work, bro? You spend your time on Facebook?
Yeah, talking to podcast
friends?
people. And
Okay.
you seriously going to pull that Facebook shit?
Okay.
What time are your posts during the day? Don't me.
I don't post on Facebook.
Good
all
luck.
often.
Good luck firing me, jackass. Anyway,
Such a dude.
I know. Deuce chill. The a listener was asking about what I thought was going to happen with Flashpoint and what's going to happen afterwards. I'm like, honestly, it's too early to tell. I mean, we've only had
Well, no, June 11th. So.
we'll either know June 11th or with the I mean, we will know.
Well, no,
unless
June
they do
13th.
unless they do the blockout.
I mean, it's possible that June 13th could be a whole shitload of solicitations that say to be announced later.
Yeah, which would be awesome.
No. I would flip my lid. I would kill people in the streets if that happened. Like, no.
Actually, it's okay because they're just teenagers from the high school.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wait, but they'll be out of school. Damn it!
Oh,
We
yeah.
can't sacrifice those little bastards.
Yeah, no, I would lose my mind. I would fly to LA and go to the DC Entertainment offices and just be screaming outside their windows, "Damn you! Give us the information!"
Oh
Yeah.
man, somebody needs to actually record that skit and act like Ryan Higgins and just do this
I'll be
epic
one of those.
running
I'll
thing.
be one of those idiot YouTubers that are like, "I'm standing in the streets and I just read this comic book and it's the worst comic I ever read. And I'm gonna rip it up and throw it in the gutter." And they film themselves throwing this comic in the gutter. This happens actually more often than you
Was
probably
this on
think.
Mark Miller's site?
No, I just see this. I see this happen every now and again. It's like, congratulations, guy. You're an idiot.
Not really. I mean, if he wants to destroy the comic that's a piece of shit, that's fine. But
Yeah.
don't throw it in the gutter. At least throw it in the trash.
Well, yeah.
Don't litter.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be a fucking
I know.
bug. That's just rude.
Give a hoot.
A hoot?
Give a hoot. Don't pollute. All right.
Oh, man, that's so old.
Our super long episode last week, we were making up with a regular sized episode this week. So
We have a regular sized?
yeah. Next week will be long, I think, because both Flashpoint, a bunch of the minis, Secret Invasion, Fear Itself number 3.
Take a shot.
Yeah, Fear Itself number 3 is coming out.
Oh, God.
We're going to be really close.
Do we have to talk about Fear Yourself 3?
If it sucks. Nah. You know what's so funny? I actually got a couple of our regular customers that are coming in who listen to this podcast. Hello,
Hey, guys.
Chuck Reese, and I don't remember who the other person was that mentioned this, but someone else.
Take
was
another shot.
Yes. Take 9 shots. Because I'm probably forgetting 12 customers that said this. They're like, "Wow, you really hate Fear itself, huh?" And I'm like, you know what? I don't hate it. It's just
bad. It's really, really bad.
Well, see, so you're the me from the Geek Box. You're the guy that hates everything.
I don't hate everything.
You're the me for the Geek Box, and I'm the Ryan Scott of the Geek Box.
When I buy the first issue of something and I read it, and I'm like, okay. And then you tell me to read the second issue before I buy it, and I read it, and I don't want to buy it,
Yeah, that's
it's
fine.
bad.
I'm not. Okay, my thing with Fear itself is it is lacking the energy that other events, both Marvel and DC,
Yeah.
have had.
Yeah.
That is my biggest problem.
Well, a lot of Marvel stuff has been lacking. Like Shadowland was kind of lacking.
Shadowland doesn't count.
Well, it's still
Shadowland, Chaos War, those type of books, they're not.
But still,
big crossovers.
Look at Amazing Spider-Man. A lot of the big stuff, like the Grim Hunt or Big Time,
those haven't been anything either.
They haven't really been that big, but there was a build-up if you're reading the books.
I'm fine with books having crossovers or story arcs within themselves. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about line-wide 30 crossover a month books, which is what Fear itself is, and I'm just
read Homefront.
I hate that book too.
Dude, the Speedball story hasn't been that bad.
It's violence against Speedball.
Oh, are you going to cry now?
I yell at Christos Gage and Mike Mayhew, the artist and the writer, on Twitter every time they mention, because they're like, oh, I'm listening to some music and I'm kicking Speedball through a glass window, and I'm like, oh, you sons of bitches.
Dude, at least he's not Penance.
Just kill him and get him out of my misery. Please, I'm done with this character.
But he's your favorite character. They can't kill him.
He was.
Oh, who's your favorite character now?
Not Speedball.
Who is it?
Speedball. Just, Speedball circa 1994 to 1990... Or 1992 to, 1997.
You mean New Warrior Speedball?
Yeah, exactly.
No, sorry. Volume 1, New Warrior Speedball.
I actually... I
was going to say we should mention this binding.
Yeah, at the little con that was in San Jose last week.
No, it wasn't. It was Big Wow.
Big Wow.
Big Wow Con.
Yeah, there's a binding company based out of San Francisco or Brisbane or something that they bind comics as well. I mean, they bind everything, but comics is a new market for them. And there's a librarybinding.com used to do it, where you get your single issues bound to a hardcover volume. They look beautiful. So I brought down my run of the New Warriors to get bound and all the crossovers and everything in order. So it should be about 5 volumes. Should get them back in about 2 weeks. So I'm really, really excited. I'll put some pictures up on the site when we get them.
Yeah, because if they work, I'm going to do Booster Gold.
Yeah,
the original Booster Gold, and I'm probably going to do.
Should be able to fit in about 1 volume.
That one's going to be easy.
Yeah, the sweet spot is about 2 to 3 inches. Height-wise of the comics, or width-wise, it's about 20, 25 comics. Somewhere in that range is about your sweet spot.
Now, you removed some ads.
Yeah, you can take out ads if you want. I left almost all of them in. The only ads I took out were the harder center middle ads, where they would have these kind of gloss page that were in the middle that were 4 or 6 pages of ads. I ripped all those out, but there was only a couple of them.
Yeah. You don't have to take the staples out, right?
No. They deal with all the staples and everything. Okay. Yeah, this library binding or comic binding is really popular. A lot of people are doing it now because you can pick up books in quarter bins, get a 25-issue hardcover made for $20. Something that's never going to be actually collected by Marvel or DC or whoever.
Which is funny because, people are willing to pay money for this stuff, and the pay to print would be a great thing for, comic book publishing companies to do for stuff that's old,
I'm sure we'll see some pay-to-print stuff as we go on. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
All right, Brock, let's wrap this guy up.
Let's wrap this guy up.
Let's
pick of the week.
Talk some random picks.
Random picks.
Yes. It's all you, Brock. Go for it.
Oh, you're a douche.
Oh, I know.
You're a douche.
You think if I was sitting around... Actually, I do got a pick, so I can go first if you want.
Go for it.
Although only 2 issues have come out so far, I have enjoyed IDW's Godzilla comic that came out. It's actually pretty fun. There's a bunch of kind of dumb jokes in the first issue, but get through that. I don't know what the deal with that first issue was. There was cool stuff to it, but there's some weird jokes that I thought were really dumb. But
was it a writer from Deadpool?
No, I think it's actually what's his face from The Goon, Eric Powell, who generally is a writer I like.
Oh.
So maybe it's just kind of a weird. I don't know what to do with those words. There's these kind of repetitive jokes in it where multiple characters say the same thing, and it seems kind of out of place. But that aside, I'm not the world's biggest Godzilla fan, but I like the concept of Godzilla. I'm actually going to Fanime, which is a local anime convention, fan run, huge. They get 10, 15, maybe more 1,000 people. They get a huge turnout. I went to pick up my ticket today, so maybe we'll talk some Fanime next week. But
you'll talk some Fanime. I'll be like, I was working.
Yeah. I kind of like some of the Japanese culture stuff and a lot of the anime and manga. So, Godzilla is something that I have a kind of tertiary interest in. Pretty.
Wow, big word there.
Tertiary. I'm probably using it incorrect, so take a shot.
Probably.
Yeah. The look my blah, blah, blah. I'll pull up my Stanley dictionary here. Yeah, tertiary. Does that mean 3? I think that means like 3. I don't know. I'm just gonna.
You got the computer right there.
I have no idea what I'm. I'll type it in when you're saying something. I have no idea what anything means. I just say words and hopefully they're the right words.
You string some semblance of a word together
somewhere.
Word, and you hope it makes some semblance of sense.
So anyway, Godzilla comic IDW number 3 came out this week. Pretty fun. And I don't know if we talked about this. We may have, but there was a Godzilla variant cover that stores could do.
We didn't talk about it.
So if your store ordered 500 copies of Godzilla, you could get your own original cover for the store of Godzilla crushing your comic book store. It was a pretty cool idea, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't take part in it because it was pretty cool. They looked really neat. Marvel's doing a Spider-Man one that looks okay, and we'll probably end up doing just to try it. But
6.
Yeah, issue number 666.
If you want
the start of Spider Island.
If you want us to do, if we want to do this, but we would like pre-orders. So if you would like a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 666 with the comics conspiracy on it, where Spider-Man's saving our store, send us an email.
Yeah, I guess if people want it, that'd be kind of neat.
Because it's the pre-orders. That way you can kind of gauge, people.
Yeah,
and you know what? If you buy it from us, we will sign it.
Damn, Brock. And any other decisions? Any other grand decisions you want to make?
I'm trying to make you money here, so shut up. Hopefully I'll get a raise out of this shit.
I pay you?
I know. What the fuck?
So, yeah, Godzilla comic, pretty fun. Like I said, kind of weird first issue, but once you get past those jokes, I just, the giant monsters. And they actually got the rights to all the company's monsters, so they're going to do like a Destroy All Monsters sort of big Royal Rumble comic miniseries that's coming out, and they're going to actually support this. And as Toho, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is
are they going to get Ultraman?
Huh?
Are they going to get Ultraman?
I don't know if Ultraman. I don't believe Ultraman's connected to that stuff. So that would be neat. But I think they're just going to do the Destroy All Monsters, and then the.
They need to do a Rampage
Godzilla
comic.
A what?
A Rampage comic.
That'd be awesome. Like, based on the old video game?
The old video game?
I'd be down with that.
Oh, yeah.
I love Rampage.
Dude, we need to find, the Rampage and just play. I love that game.
That's a fun game. Awesome. So, yeah, IDW, check it out. Cool stuff. Really good covers, too. Some really beautiful covers. They got some real cool people to do the cover art, especially that number 1. Some really nice, real classic Godzilla-looking covers. So, yeah, cool stuff. Check that guy out. I'm going to look up what tertiary means. I believe it means 3 or third. Brock,
my random comic pick of the week. Let's see. I think I'm going to go with...
How do you spell tertiary?
Tersh. I don't know. Tersh. Sound it out.
Okay, keep going.
So, just so you know, the guy that emailed us is going, God damn it, Ryan. Fuck you. I hate you. While he's flying his desk. I think I'm going to go with Batman Long Halloween. A lot of people have been asking about, Batman and good stories to get on Batman.
Yeah.
And Long Halloween is a really good story to jump in on.
Yeah.
That's not the first one, though, right? The first one in that, with the Joseph Loeb, Tim Sale stuff is... What was the first one? It was Haunted Night?
Haunted Night.
Haunted
Correct.
Night. And
Night
then
with a K, yeah.
And then it's Long Halloween?
Yes.
And then Dark Victory?
Yes. And then Catwoman When in Rome.
Yeah. So you can pick those up in that order, but Long Halloween is a really good story that stands on itself. It's a...
tertiary means third. It's also a period of the geological timescale. Members of the Third Order. There's the Base 3 numerical system. A tertiary consumer. Oh, a tertiary consumer in an ecological sense. Interesting. Tertiary function of the group also attached to a carbon atom attached to 3 other carbon atoms in organic chemistry. I don't remember why. Why did I say tertiary? What was I saying that for? I must be thinking of another word. Take a shot.
I have... Take 2 because it's...
Okay, go ahead.
So, anyway.
I have no idea what I was trying to say.
Long Halloween's a really, really good story written by Joseph Loeb, drawn by Tim Sale.
And you can check out the tertiary book in the
tertiary
series.
book, yeah, because there's 3 of them.
Right,
you don't need to read the
4
Catwoman
if you
one.
want to.
You don't really need the Catwoman. So it's a tertiary series. Hopefully I'm using it right. But yeah, you can read Long Halloween by itself. Yeah. It's really, really good. It's a murder mystery set over the course of a year. Really well done. But that's a good Batman book kind of just to get in and read some Batman. A lot of people have been asking about... I think a lot of people have been asking, this is on the forums. I mean, it's been on the forums for a while in the comic book thing with, like, recommend me some comics thread. But a lot of people don't really know where to jump in.
For Batman?
For anything. It's kind of like the fear of the comic book.
This is the
store guy.
Yeah, this is the ongoing problem with comic books, and people just need to jump in wherever. You really do. I mean, it's if you can start at the start of a story, that's fine. But really, my first comic book was Darkhawk #4. My first X-Men was 279.
Yeah.
You think I had any idea what was going on in any of these comics? No. Anyone that bought comics from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and probably into the 80s and even into the 90s, there was none of this, you have to reboot, or you have... the comics were written... I mean, I believe it was John Byrne who said, you should write every comic like it's someone's first.
Yeah.
I get that rationale, but due to the way comics are created these days, that's not really possible.
Yeah.
You lead to a lot of exposition and you could basically... The first half of the book is explaining what happened in the previous whole series. The second half of the book is setting up the next issue, which is just a recap of everything. So, it wouldn't really work. But honestly, the way trade paperbacks are done and the way these single issues are done, these characters... I mean, Batman's Bruce Wayne. You know who he is. And even if he's not Bruce Wayne, even if he's Dick Grayson... Just read it. You'll figure it out. Really, if you think something looks cool, just jump in.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've told people, I've mentioned this before, Legion, I just jumped in.
Yeah.
I just picked something and jumped, It's mainly, I think the thing is pick something you like. If it's shiny and cool looking, then go for it. So
Legion's a perfect example. I mean, I read it through the 90s during the reboot, or during the reboot, and then I picked it up during the Gail Simone reboot with Superboy. Then I picked it back up again, during the 3-boot. And it's I never read any of the original stuff, and I've only read a handful of it now. So, your knowledge, you just jump into wherever. And with things like Wikipedia, message boards, and podcasts, you can find out whatever the hell you want about the rest of it. I mean, I listened to, I mentioned this before on the podcast once or twice, but Tom vs. the Flash, which is a fantastic podcast where this guy, it's now Tom vs. Aquaman. It started as Tom vs. JLA, where he basically just reads the comics and explains to you in detail what happens in every issue through all the Silver Age stuff in order. I've read a great deal of the Silver Age Flash books, but it was really cool. Again, he's a really funny guy, too. So it's really cool to have him kind of go through and explain the stories, and he points out ridiculous stuff, but he does love the books. So, you could listen to that. You never have to read a Flash comic in your life and know exactly what happens in every issue, because he tells you. So, there's all sorts of stuff like that out there. There's all sorts of ways to find out.
It's just pick what you like. I mean, if you like red things, then read Flash. If you like green, then read Green Lantern, or the Hulk.
Sure.
Or Red Hulk. It's pick something and go with it. I mean, that's basically what it is. And, don't be scared of that comic book guy behind the counter.
Not too many of those guys
There's
left.
not too many of them left. I mean...
There are still some, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I look like the Simpsons comic book guy.
No, you don't.
Have you seen it? He's wearing glasses, long red hair, and a ponytail, and he's kind of fat.
I don't remember the comic book guy having a bunch of tattoos. And a do-rag. You occasionally have a do-rag.
I always have a do-rag.
Yeah, so there you go. Gangsta.
What up, G?
All right, we're still going to clock in at just about an hour or so, longer than I wanted, but hey, not the hour and a half madness that was last week. Thank you once again for listening to this podcast.
Plug the store.
If you have any questions, you can email us at thecomicconspiracy@geekbox.net. You can come visit us on the forums, www.geekbox.net or forums.geekbox.net for that direct link. You can, you should review us on iTunes. Actually, I haven't checked iTunes in a couple weeks, so I should see if we're still the 168th most popular comic podcast. We're probably around there somewhere. So
hopefully we jump to 167.
Yeah. You can follow us on the Facebooks. Facebook.com/TheGeekBox. It may just be Geekbox. I believe it's The Geekbox. I'm on Twitter, Ryan Higgins Ryan. Brock is not on Twitter because he sucks. You can visit his blog though, because he's a girl. ConspiratorBrock.blogspot.com. He writes his innermost feelings on his journal.
What is wrong with you?
On his internet journal, everything.
What? Dude, I post what my random pick of the week is every week. What do you do? I'll leave it for the podcast. They can listen if they want it.
Yeah.
I give them a place to go.
You're
and
special.
a picture. And I give them my pull list, too.
I don't do that.
I know.
My pull list is too big. Why you don't look at me like that?
Well, you said your pull list is too big.
It is.
That's what she said.
Oh, I
know.
All right, we're going to clock this out right at 1 hour on the dot. So let's see if we can time this. We have about 6 seconds. So, Brock, any last words? All right, no last words.
Come on!
Come on!
Come on!
We'll see you next week.